I'm curious to get your thoughts on your Miami Dolphins trade deadline performance. Take it away.
Oh, lack thereof, bro.
Talk about it,
man. Like all this smoke about Watson, and it seemed like they were on the goal line. It's like, all right, Watson. Like last week, right after we recorded, basically like 48 hours after, started to come out that Watson waived his no trade clause to go to the Dolphins, and it's like, okay. We're right there. We're on the goal line. Let's just punch this through for a touchdown. We'll get Watson. We'll deal with, the off the field issues. Come as they may. The league came out, said they're not going to suspend him right now. They don't have enough info. Blah blah blah. And then you started seeing reports that Stephen Ross wants him to settle. Stephen Ross wants to talk to Deshaun Watson and get a feel for the guy. And the Texans didn't make him available to discuss. And then you start to see a lot of people starting to walk back some of the predictions that he's going to be moved by 4 p.m. today. And it's just, for all this nonsense, Burge, and I get it, like my team, the Dolphins, we are like the laughing stock of the NFL right now because we have all these rumors floating out that we're flirting with another quarterback. We want to get Deshaun Watson in there. But then you sell out Brian Flores, who's already under enough fire as it is, to then go to every press conference and address, the Deshaun Watson rumors. And I'm going to be honest with you, he doesn't really do himself any favors at these press conferences because he looks like me in math class when I'm called for homework. I think he clearly wants out of the Tua business, but he can't just come out and say it because he doesn't know if he's going to get Deshaun Watson or not. And let's be honest, you're going to get Deshaun Watson. You're probably still going to end up starting Tua or keeping Tua on your roster in case he ends up getting suspended because of the off-the-field issues. Stephen Ross, Chris Greer, they just put Flores in a very awkward spot. He's already starting to lose the locker room. He's getting the heat every day from the press. And now Tua's kind of getting a little, in his feels, let's just say, at some of the press conferences. It's just a bad situation for a bad football team right now. And I'm going to be honest with you, with all this stuff that's happened and the lack of moves and the lack of winning, Chris Greer is probably going to be fired at the end of the year. Flores, if he ends up, I think he's going to keep his job for one more season because I think they are going to go back to the well with Deshaun Watson in the offseason. But I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up getting fired. So this, for a bad team, you have out of your 2 draft picks, you traded one of the Eagles. You only have one from the 49ers, and right now I think it's like a top 15 pick. Whereas if you kept yours, you'd be picking 3rd in the draft next year. It's just mismanagement all over the place. I'm just gonna start eating Tums, dude. I can't. I'm gonna get a friggin' ulcer by this team.
I've obviously going into the season, after the allegations came out, I've been on the firm stance that he's not going to get traded because the value's not going to be there. He's not going to get what he's worth. They're not going to get what the Texans aren't going to get what he's worth. All this and that. That being said, given everything we heard in the last 72 hours about how Deshaun Watson was working to settle his cases. I think Tony Busby, the lawyer for the 22 victims in this lawsuit, confirmed that Watson's camp was trying to settle these lawsuits ahead of time, ahead of the deadline. So I also saw that there was an interesting thing here that he went to do that after talking with Miami and kind of left the Texans a little bit out of the loop on it. Mm-hmm. And once the Texans caught wind of this, they drove the price up.
Oh, yeah.
So, which rightfully so, I would do the same thing if I was a general manager of, a football team trying to trade a premium asset that is Deshaun Watson. And, I just think that they screwed it up all around. The Dolphins, Stephen Ross, put Brian Flores in a no-win situation, having to go to the podium and deal with this crap for the last week and a half, 2 weeks. Obviously, he can't come out and say that they're pursuing Deshaun Watson because he has to, like you said, coach as if Tua is his quarterback, and he's not going to say anything that's going to deter him or discourage Tua or do anything like that to rip any kind of semblance of confidence that he has. I don't know if he has any, but rip any of that away. So they put him in a hell of a spot. Obviously, like you said, they're a 1-6, 1-7 football team. They don't have their first round pick because they traded it to Philadelphia. It's an absolute mess. I feel for you as a fan. Actually, I kind of do because I know you're a Buffalo Bills fan, but that's a discussion for a different time.
Here we go.
But no, all honesty, I feel for you because it can't be fun to have to sit there and deal with this. It's almost like.
Oh, don't worry, Birch. I've had 20+ years experience. This ain't my first rodeo.
But what I'm saying is like, if they weren't going to get Watson, why didn't they start selling? Because to try to get more draft assets to try to better your team. Your team is obviously not making the playoffs this year. There's a very strong chance that they could finish in the basement of the division. With the Jets putting together, I mean, they've looked bad.
Lightning, Mike White.
Right? Like, they've looked really bad, but they've come off with 2 wins against viable opponents. That are sitting kind of at the top of the AFC right now. So, very good chance that that's going to happen. It's going to be painful to watch the Eagles pick, top 5, with that pick. And, we'll see if I was hoping like Jay, we've been going back and forth with this whole thing about how we just want this whole saga to end. We're sick of talking about it. Looks like we get to talk about it, in February and March this year, We're going to be ramping back up in the offseason after the Super Bowl, and what's going to be the top story? Where's Deshaun Watson going to play next year? Or, is he going to jail? Or is he getting sued? Is he going to be on the exempt list? Anything like this. We're still going to be talking about Deshaun Watson, non-football related, and I'm sick of dealing with it, and it's going to be our future. So,
buckle up.